Hello, this is Thundra, and thank you for visiting my channel. Today I want to talk about overcoming health issues and specifically address the very common issue of food allergies and leaky gut syndrome. Just a quick reminder before we get started to please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future valuable content. Thanks. So if you know anything about food allergies and leaky gut syndrome, this can be an absolutely debilitating illness that affects literally every aspect of your life. This is something I personally have dealt with over the course of my lifetime, and over time, it continued to get worse and worse until I felt like I was living in a prison in every way you can imagine. Not only did I have to constantly read labels to ensure I was not putting anything harmful into my body, it became a very isolating illness because so much of our social life, such as spending time with friends and family and participating in traditions like holidays and celebratory events, revolves around food. And traveling with severe food allergies can be next to impossible without tons of preparation, especially in this day and age of imposed government restrictions like not even being able to take a bottle of water onto a plane. And when you can't order anything from a restaurant, it makes it very hard to leave home for more than a few hours at a time. If you've gone through this yourself, you know firsthand how absolutely debilitating it is. And from my personal experience and what I have seen many others in support groups go through, the allergies will just continue to increase over time as you continue to eliminate more and more foods. To give you a quick idea of what level I was experiencing with this, I will share a quick list of what foods I had to avoid when I was at my worst. All grains. Never mind just gluten intolerance, all grains, including corn, wheat, barley, rice, all beans and legumes, all dairy, beef, all cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, cauliflower, and spinach, all nightshade vegetables such as tomatoes, potatoes, eggplant, and peppers, eggs, and all nuts and seeds. The list went on, and my situation was only getting worse. I ended up seeing a functional medicine doctor for a couple of years to try and approach this from a more natural perspective because the years of allergy shots I had received as a young person were not working, and it was such a dangerous situation for me that an allergist was afraid to actually go that route anyway. The functional medicine doctor put me on an elimination diet as if there were really any more foods I could eliminate, and he put me on a ton of supplements to address the leaky gut issue. He also did neurofeedback therapy because the brain damage from all the years of inflammation was so bad, he said I was worse off than his 85-year-old stroke patient. I could not perform simple tasks, and my memory was so bad, it felt like I had early onset Alzheimer's. I was literally dying, and I was really scared. So basically, I ate chicken, sweet potatoes, and avocados for over a year. And the coffee table in my living room was a medical disaster. It was covered with medications and supplements that I religiously took multiple times a day as I desperately attempted to heal myself through traditional medicine and alternative holistic medicine. It was to no avail. The allergies never improved, and I had spent thousands of dollars and had totally revamped my entire life situation and saw little to no improvement. I was desperate at this point and at rock bottom physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I could no longer work, travel was out of the question, and my quality of life was a complete disaster. I was a single parent of a child with high-functioning autism who was now also developing issues with food. I was being harassed by negative entities all the time, so my anxiety and fear were through the roof despite taking 2 different anxiety medications. And all of this happened when I was on what I thought was my spiritual path. I was doing those feel-good affirmations and law of attraction practices, attending group meditations, channeling angels, and deep into conspiracy videos, always trying to find the next big truth or conspiracy so I could share it with the world. And you know what all of that did for me? Not a fucking thing. I was sucking the life out of everyone around me. It drove me deep into fear and denial, mentally and physically, and I was close to dead. So now that I've given you a background on my story, some of it might sound very familiar to you. My story is sadly not at all uncommon, and now that I have healed through a lot of this, I understand why. Boundaries, fear, and denial were crippling my very existence, and I had no idea until I found a couple of my teachers who led me to understand that this all needed to change. But I had to let go of what I thought was truth. How could I do this? This had become my very identity. I had spent over a decade researching and doing what I thought was helpful, but I could not deny the results of my overall life. So I was willing to do whatever it took to change. The worst part of this was the deep denial I was in. How could I have this horrible life situation when I was doing all those affirmations and practicing the law of attraction? Because I was not dealing with the root cause of all of this and was denying my emotional trauma by stuffing it down with an affirmation and imagining the life I wanted to have. Now, don't get me wrong, there can be value in those practices, but when you use them to distract yourself from your quote-unquote negative feelings, they will only worsen your situation. So allow me to share with you one of the biggest healing modalities I have found, and that is the rune Thurisaj. If you know anything about the runes or have worked with them, you know they can create major change on a very deep level. So let me expand specifically on why Thurisaj rune is so helpful. This is the rune of Thor and represents the electromagnetic field that encompasses everything in this universe. And what does chanting Thurisaj do? It helps to create a stronger electromagnetic field around you from the quantum level outward. So this includes manifesting healthier boundaries within your own body, and it ripples out into your external reality. So whether it is physical, emotional, or spiritual boundaries you're looking for, Thurisaj is the rune that will affect this. Nothing with bad boundaries can be in the presence of Thurisaj energy, and that is why I love it so much. And when you think about something like leaky gut and food allergies, this is caused by the protective layer of the gut being gone. So food particles are leaking into the bloodstream where they shouldn't belong, and your body is living in a state of chaos trying to figure out what is you and what isn't, and what belongs there and what doesn't. So oftentimes what happens is you develop autoimmune issues because your body doesn't understand what is an invader and what isn't. It no longer knows what belongs where and why, and what part of it is you and what it needs to fight off. And these issues are often genetic. So yes, we do pass them on to our children many times, but this isn't just through the physical plane. We pass them on spiritually and energetically to our children as well. The reason I'm sharing all this with you is because I see unhealthy boundaries in many places, especially in the spiritual community. And when you have bad boundaries, you will attract others with bad boundaries because you are running on the same frequency. And if you are able to see the patterns in your own life and look at others in the same situations, you will often see the following things occurring simultaneously: leaky gut and food allergies, autoimmune diseases, codependent behaviors and codependent relationships, spiritual harassment, and a poor sense of self, including a complete lack of identity. And many times, it isn't just an individual dealing with this. There are sick families out there struggling on this level. And unfortunately, many people, my former self included, have glorified some of these issues and turned it into a virtue by labeling it as being empathic. And nothing could be further from the truth. The truth is, we develop the ability of extreme empathy because of trauma. And being highly empathic comes from a poor sense of boundaries. Being empathic is something you develop as a child to survive a traumatic situation. And left unhealed, it creates a toxic environment for yourself and others over time. Your life, your relationships, and your health are a direct reflection of your inner reality. And not that I'm a fan of the Bible, but there is a verse that is very true. It says, "By their fruits you will know them." So if your fruits are rotten, then maybe it's time to take a look at yourself and make a change. I am happy to report that I have recovered much of my physical and emotional health with tools I received from my teachers, and I'm now happy to pass them on to you. There are many other things we can use to correct these issues, but I wanted to share one of my favorites with you because I know when you're in this situation, you can feel helpless and hopeless. So working with Autoimmune can totally change your life and initiate huge changes for the better. Will this be easy? It definitely won't be. It can be scary as hell to uproot everything you've known and let go of what you think is you. But I promise you, it will all be for your highest good, and your life will improve dramatically as you begin to develop healthy boundaries internally and externally. All you have to do to begin working with Autoimmune is to chant it. You can set a timer for even 3 minutes a day, but consistency is key. There are deeper levels to working with this specific tool, and I offer many more tools and services to assist you in your growth. You can find out more by visiting thundrasr.com, and the link is in the description so you can check out the site and see the services I have to offer. And I can help develop a plan that's right for you to initiate transformation. I'm here to assist you however I can to make sure you have exactly what you need to empower you for the rest of your lives and to experience actual quality of life. And remember, you are either growing or you are dying. If you found this information to be helpful, please subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks for listening.